We bring a question to the sacred text today, asking if the temple location belief of Robert Cornuke is correct. We open the scroll to the lead verse in Joshua chapter 24, verse 32, which declares that in a parcel of ground that Jacob bought from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 pieces of silver, it became the priestly inheritance of the children of Joseph. This opening word establishes the foundational principle of distinct and designated locations for priestly purposes. We listen closely to the voice of the Creator as He guides our understanding through the written word. Every detail in the sacred text carries weight, guiding us away from error and into the light of truth. The Scripture meticulously differentiates between specific plots of ground and their covenantal assignments. Shechem was a specific priestly inheritance for the children of Joseph, entirely distinct from the later sanctuary in Jerusalem. The text speaks directly to the question of location by showing that the Creator designates specific places for specific purposes, and they are not to be conflated or relocated based on human speculation. As we draw the thematic threads across the revelation, a clear demarcation appears between the city of David and the location of the Holy Temple. The belief in question proposes that the temple was located in the city of David. However, the text explicitly identifies the city of David as the royal burial ground, not the site of the altar. This distinction is a profound spiritual reality that guards the sanctity of the holy places. When we blur the lines between the resting place of the kings and the dwelling place of the Most High, we risk profaning what is set apart. 1 Kings chapter 2, verse 10 records that David rested with his forefathers and was buried in the city of David. 1 Kings chapter 14, verse 31 confirms this enduring pattern, stating that Rehoboam rested with his forefathers and was buried with his ancestors in the city of David. The city of David is the city of the sepulchres of the house of David. Conversely, the Holy Temple is explicitly located in Jerusalem. Psalm 79, verse 1 cries out, "O Elohim, the nations are come into your covenant inheritance. Your holy temple have they defiled. They have laid Jerusalem on heaps." The Holy Temple is inextricably linked to the Holy City. Furthermore, the geographical anchor of the sanctuary is provided in Zechariah chapter 14, verse 4, which declares that His feet will stand in that day on the Mount of Olives that is before Jerusalem on the east. The Mount of Olives is positioned before Jerusalem on the east, looking toward the temple site, not south toward the city of David Ridge. The revelation emphasizes that the pattern for the sanctuary was given for the temple in Jerusalem, not for an altar in the city of David. 1 Chronicles chapter 22, verse 17 shows the role of the king, declaring that David also commanded all the princes of Israel to help Solomon his son, saying, "Is not YHWH your Elohim with you?" David prepared the way for Solomon to build the temple in Jerusalem. 1 Chronicles chapter 28, verse 18 details the divine pattern given for the temple, describing the gold for the pattern of the chariot of the cherubim that spread out their wings and covered the ark of the covenant of YHWH. Every measurement was chosen by divine wisdom, reflecting the glory of the One who dwells within. The physical structures were but a shadow of the heavenly reality, pointing forward to a time when the worship of the Creator would be established in truth. 2 Chronicles chapter 4, verses 8 and 9 describe the physical structures of this temple, noting that He made the court of the priests and the great court and doors for the court. The Scriptures direct the mind to Jerusalem for the sanctuary, as Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 50 commands the people to remember YHWH afar off and let Jerusalem come into your mind. The physical and spiritual geography remains fixed upon the mountain. The presence of direct textual hits reinforces the seriousness of maintaining the correct order of the sanctuary. Exodus chapter 22, verse 20 provides a severe warning against altering the established worship, declaring that whoever consecrated sacrifices to any other Elohim than YHWH alone will be devoted to destruction. To alter the boundaries of the holy places is to invite judgment upon those who treat the sacred as common. The warnings are clear, designed to protect the purity of the worship and the integrity of the covenant. Leviticus chapter 16, verse 18 focuses on the true altar, stating that the priest will go out to the altar that is before YHWH and make propitiatory covering for it. Ezekiel chapter 45, verse 4 defines the precise zoning of the sanctuary, explaining that the holy portion of the land will be for the priests, the ministers of the sanctuary, and it will be a place for their houses and a consecrated place for the sanctuary. These textual confirmations demonstrate that the location of the altar and the sanctuary is a matter of strict covenantal boundary, not subject to human revision or modern speculation. The boundaries are set by the Creator, and they are not to be moved by those who seek to redefine them. This textual evidence is overwhelmingly confirmed by the mathematical metrics of the SHIELD protocol. The deterministic inquiry answer is a definitive no, with a probability of 99.6% for a negative response to the question. The Dominion triad of identity, inheritance, and priesthood fires at a discovery level of 6.23 sigma. The true priestly inheritance, as seen in the lead verse and in Nehemiah chapter 11, verse 3, which notes that the heads of the province abided each in his priestly inheritance in their cities, and the identity of the holy places are mathematically locked. The Father is speaking to the full architecture of covenantal standing, establishing the true boundaries of the inheritance. The polarity balance index is neutral, indicating that the focus is on establishing the factual truth of the location rather than issuing a covenantal rebuke. The guidance detection indicator registers as an extreme anomaly, and the convergence confidence index shows strong convergence at 80% across 5 channels. This is classified as a strong anomaly, meaning all confirmatory gates pass. These numbers are not random, but are the fingerprints of the Creator confirming the truth of His Word. When the metrics align so perfectly, we can rest assured that the conclusion is based on the unerring guidance of the Spirit. The mathematics leave no room for ambiguity. We return to the question brought to the text, asking if the temple location belief of Robert Cornuke is correct. The answer, grounded in the surface text and confirmed by the mathematics, is a definitive no. The scriptures clearly distinguish the city of David as the royal burial ground and place the holy temple in Jerusalem, geographically anchored by the Mount of Olives. The pattern of the sanctuary was given for the temple, and the priesthood was assigned to specific, designated inheritances. The extreme statistical convergence confirms that the proposed belief incorrectly conflates the city of the king's tombs with the location of the holy temple. The true location of the sanctuary remains exactly as the text has always declared. Let this answer settle deeply into our hearts, removing any doubt and establishing a firm foundation for our faith. We do not follow human theories, but we stand upon the solid rock of the revealed Word. May we always seek the truth with humility and reverence, honoring the holy places as He has ordained them. We close this reading with the final answer to the question. The temple location belief of Robert Cornuke is not correct. The verse is drawn in this SHIELD 17.10 session where Joshua chapter 24, verse 32, Job chapter 19, verse 15 to 16, Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 7, Genesis chapter 47, verse 18, Revelation chapter 2, verse 14, Exodus chapter 6, verse 3. This concludes today's interpretation under the SHIELD protocol.